Hello everyone, welcome to Seefeld in Austria for what is going to be a spectacular weekend for the Viessmann Nordic Combined World Cup. It's the Nordic Combined Triple, a weekend where all events are linked, the points are a bit different and consistency over the three events is rewarded. For the men, it's the last weekend of action before they head over to Italy for the Olympic Games. We'll be keeping a keen eye out for those whose form is peaking at just the right time. But first up, it is the women, their second triple after last year's debut, and it is Ida Marie Hagen, 200 points ahead of Alexa Brabeck. If she's 200 points ahead of the rest at the end of this long weekend, she will be the World Cup champion. And I know one person who will be applauding her, Manny Cooper.
I will be, Richard, I really will be, and the weather's amazing, blue skies, it's just snowed overnight, so we're in for a great competition weekend.
It's perfect, isn't it? And I know it's not far away from your gaff, is it? So you've been enjoying the build up to this one, and yeah, wonderful track. It's 2.5 Ks, and the distance gets longer and longer as we go through for the women for sure. 5 Ks, and then 7.5 Ks on that all important Sunday event where you can get your double points. It's half points Friday and Saturday, double points on Sunday, and that could make all the difference. We saw last season Natalie Armbruster, that was the pivotal moment when she got ahead of Hagen.
Oh, it is, and I find it quite cheeky that they got the longest distances on the last day. 12.5k for the men, I mean that is quite brutal, and 7.5 for the women. And we're just seeing the course, and yeah, it's if you don't have fresh legs on this course, you're going to be feeling it after the first loop. There are so many technical uphill sections, and this is the final uphill section of the course where we will be seeing some attacks during the racing into the long downhill section where the athletes get round about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour, so very fast on the thin skis.
This is not far away from where you are based, so you obviously, this is almost like a home track for you when you go training, enjoying this, and it is a spectacular cross-country track because there is one, you know, it's not quite vertical, but if you look on the actual map they provide us, it's a very steep incline, and then you've got another one after that when your legs are still burning.
You have, and I've raced this course many times. I did like this course, I really did. One of my favourite ones because it is so technical and tactical, and you have to know when will I make my move. And going out of the arena on the long downhill section, actually, where the athletes can have a bit of a rest, into the uphill section, into that long uphill, down into the downhill section again, and sprinting it up. And you can just see how steep that one big climb is, which we just talked about.
Let us just quickly talk about the triple and how it works, because I think it's all good that we know what's going on. It is the 13th edition for the men.
Competition day of the Seefeld Triple. Beautiful sunshine, beautiful venue. What's your goal for the race today?
Honestly, ski as hard as I can. You know, it's a hard course. There's a lot of uphill and it's technical, but I mean, I love Seefeld. What can we complain about? Look at the sun, the weather is amazing, the conditions are great. So honestly, I just want to go out there, have fun with the girls, and yeah, ski as hard as I can.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Been knocking on the door of the top 10, hasn't she, Malachinsky? Perhaps today is the day. Yeah, just going back to the triple, second time for the women. Performances carried over to the next day. So basically, if you win by quite a few points, well, you'll have that advantage on the ski slopes tomorrow, and then carried on again till Sunday. And whoever's across the line on Sunday is the winner. And as a result, the points are slightly different. Half points Friday, Saturday, and then double points, of course. And Geiger liked the double points last year, didn't he, as well?
Oh, he did. He really did.
And this is the women as they line up. As I said, Ida Marie Hagen can clinch the Crystal Globe by Sunday. 200-point cushion is what she needs. Remember, she was disqualified last year on the Saturday, and that was the start of a calamitous end to the season for her. No Austrian has won on Austrian snow. Katharina Gruber might quite like to do that this weekend. Quite a lot of people on yellow cards. You don't want another yellow card because you will be excluded from the next weekend as well. of course, just one more after this, and that is Lahti and Oslo in that fourth period. And, well, the triple awaits everybody. Bated breath, but not for much longer. A couple of minutes to go, and then we'll be underway. There's a bit of breeze around. May not be quite so good for the ski jumping. And here we go. And, well, it's the woman with that yellow bib, Ida Marie Hagen, who has been unbeaten bar the second event in Trondheim. Minja Korhonen has been looking in decent form. The Finn, hasn't she? Next to Brabeck, the Americans are coming. It's a matter of time, I reckon, before they replicate that first ever win in the first ever competition of Nordic Combined. Lovely Ambrister, I don't know what you feel, Manny, but not quite at the height she was last year.
No, not quite. She has had a few health problems. We know that for a fact. We saw a bit of a worrying collapse in Ramsau. She's recovered from that. There has been a bit of a virus going down through the athletes. I know for a fact Natalie was a bit sick. Annika Malachinsky was also a bit sick. So hopefully that won't put them off too much. But, you know, there's 3 days of competition and brutal course. And you do want to be 100%, but we will see. Anything can happen, like we know.
Absolutely. No Lisa Herner. She, the Austrian, has an infection. Half an eye on the Olympics next week, of course, because she will be there. Not obviously in the Nordic Combined discipline. But Hagen, completely focused. Look at that. 10 out of 10, ski jumping and cross country. You can't ask for any more than that, can you? And she's been so dominant. Minja Korhonen, just 18 years of age, with a couple of, 3 silver second places. Brabeck, well, again, on the cusp, I think you would probably say. Already 4 World Cup podiums. Katharina Gruber, best placed of the Austrians.
Yeah, the woman doing the X, for no exceptions for the Olympics, and we've seen this before, and hopefully the men will do it later on. I've had a chat with a few of the athletes. You know, it's hard at the moment for them. Their teammates from the men's side, brothers, Annika Malachinsky's brothers going to the Olympics, and the women aren't. And they're just making a, saying, hey, we're here, no exception, it's 2026. But there's World Cup to look forward to this weekend.
Well, it was a very striking thing, wasn't it, that we saw there from the athletes, desperate to be there at the next Olympics in 4 years' time. Anyway, let's concentrate on the World Cup, and it is that woman everyone has to beat. It is the mass start, of course. We start 2 laps of this course. Wait for that cannon to go off. Away we go. Our first action in Seefeld. In Austria, it is the triple, of course. It is the women. 2 laps of this challenging course. Not to begin with, but it will come.
It will come. And, that was a pretty dramatic start, wasn't it? With the cannon going off. But hey, we're off into the first downhill section. And this is where the technicians have been testing like mad over the last few days. Seen on social media. You know, hard conditions. We've got around -1 degree at the moment, fresh snow, so it's going to be compact and icy. So this is going to be key today, and so many spectators out here already. It's great that you can just go cross-country skiing and then have a little break and watch the World Cup athletes go by.
Yeah, Korhonen looks like she's got good skis. She was coasting quite nicely. There is a lot to do here. There is a downhill, there is a bit of ice skating, and if you fancy just, getting into your trunks, there is a swimming pool next door. But let's concentrate.
Come on, Richard, let's concentrate on the women. Come on.
And funnily enough, it is Hagen who leads at the moment. Korhonen, Kasai has come through from 6th to 3rd, but they are nicely packed together, and this is why the mass start is on the first day, because the points difference stays perhaps a little bit more compact.
Yeah, it does, and this is what we were expecting to see, all the athletes sticking together, because it has been a downhill basically from the start. And we will see, I would suspect, some moves. It is only 2 laps for the women, going into the first uphill section in a second. It'll be very interesting. I do want to point out Hagen, no headband today, but with glasses. Normally she has a headband and with no glasses, so interesting one.
Oh, it's a perfect Alpine day, though, isn't it? Crisp without being, you know, bone chilling. But this is where it'll get interesting. We know what Hagen can do. She will look to just stretch everybody. And at the back, it's all a little concertinaed up. And there she goes.
It is just so steep, that first bit. It really is. And, you know, when you suddenly hit the uphill section, you're kind of going from 15 kilometres an hour down to 4. And it is going to bunch up. And, yeah, Hagen, she just wants to keep ahead, doesn't she? Spreading the group out a bit.
Well, she won the first race last year, but those 11 consecutive World Cup wins came to an end on the Saturday, disqualified. Got to be careful, especially they got their eyes on the ski jumping suits, haven't they? It's Norway 1 and 2 at 1.2 kilometres. Koronen, Novak of Germany, Brabeck in there. Kasai's dropped down a little bit.
She has dropped down a little bit. It will be interesting to see how Marta-Leine Lund, if she can stay with Hagen, because she's always been there or thereabouts, hasn't she? And we've always said, oh, it would just be great if she has a great jump after the mass start. Maybe it is her weekend, but this group has been, well, it's been ripped apart. That's just how technical and how hard this course is. We've had one uphill section, and there's already big gaps.
Well, she is Marta-Leine Lund, the holder of the red bib for the best skier, but she has not been on the podium. 5th her best so far this season. And then once again that little rise, and once again a little burst from Hagen. Lund just trying to keep with her. The two Norwegians in that distinctive ski suit. A long way ahead, I'd say just under 10 seconds between those two and the rest.
Yeah, definitely. And this looks flat where they're running now, but it is uphill, and it's like a false flat, to be honest. And the great thing about this weekend, the triple, is there's basically a race for every single athlete. Some athletes say, hey, I like the mass start better. I'm better at cross-country skiing. My ski jumping's not so strong. Some like the compact. I know that for a fact. So that's coming up. And the normal Gunderson. So we've got it all this weekend.
Still on the first lap of just the two for the women. 5Ks today, 5Ks tomorrow, and 7.5 on the difficult Sunday for these athletes. Not difficult for the spectators. They're getting their money's worth to come down for the weekend and watch these athletes in action. It is wonderful.
It really is wonderful, and the two Norwegians in the white suits at the front have really put in a big gap. After this uphill section, there is the long downhill section, and then the final climb into the finishing zone, where they will be going into their second lap.
And Brusta was on the near side as they went through the chasing pack. Gertie Motes is in that little group as well, the first ever winner of a Women's World Cup, but that's a long time ago, and she struggled just to get back into rhythm, particularly ski jumping, the American, but her cross country, as someone who's been very heavily involved in biathlon previous to this season, not to be questioned. Got to be a bit careful on that left-hander. You see the speed that you get as you go downhill.
And for the woman going now, it's quite good because it's so compact, and the more athletes which go around this course, the deeper it will get, and then it's so hard. Imagine going through slushy snow with 50 kilometers an hour on thin skis with no edges. Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yeah, hard's an understatement, I think. Hagen pulling away. She's looking great, has looked, well, unbeatable on the thin skis all through the season. 5 seconds the difference between her and Marta-Leine Lund. And then another, over 10 seconds between Lund and Brabeck, Kasai, Ambruster, Gertie Motes, Novak. They're all in a big bunch together, looking for a chance just to get some extra points to hunt down the gap, because it will be a gap for Hagen. She's not been quite as dominant ski jumping this season. Some young guns have come through. Lata, Brabeck, Gruber, Volschweg with a very good PCR provisional competition round. Halfway through this race, and it is Hagen. Business as normal. Lund just trying to hang on to her coattails. was down in 20th on that PCR, so she'll want to be close. And it is, you've got to play the long game, that's for sure, if you want to win the triple. And also remember, you've got to be in it to win it on Sunday. And these are the athletes coming through the halfway mark all together, but already exiting out of the stadium. That's a great shot. You can see the chasing back in the distance. I'll see you later.
Fair play to the cameraman who's running up the side there. But the thing with the mass started is every second counts. The women athletes, they have the ski jumping later, and they know every single second gets converted into the points. And, you know, if you're 30 seconds ahead, then you've got a massive lead. And if you know the ski jumping part is a bit weaker, or you didn't have a great, well, you don't like this hill, we've talked about it so many times, haven't we? Every single hills is different. But we're seeing some great...
This is a great hill, because I mean at the end there is an opportunity to attack if you're close. We saw that with Geiger. We had some great finishes in the men last year, and well, Garrity Moach is looking pretty good. 15 is Lina Brocard. Down, she's made a few places up, that's for sure, but not so many. And these athletes will be looking to attack if they possibly can.
They will be, and what we mustn't forget also, these athletes have had a bit of a break since Oberhof in Germany. So they've had a weekend between where they've been able to go home. Quite a few nations came straight to Seefeld. I've basically been training here for a week. I know that for a fact. And this race will be a wake-up call for some of them. And tomorrow's the next race. They'll be like, okay, cool. Tomorrow's the next race. I feel better. But they've got a big lead, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Geiger was saying that he's been here for a fortnight. And why not get some training in? No better place. It's such a wonderful part of the world. And if you fancy a thrill of your own, take the left-hand seat as you fly out of Innsbruck and see the Alps above you as they turn right. Apparently the pilots have to have a special license to get out of Innsbruck. There you go. Useless information, but I thought I'd tell you anyway. Here's Hagen. This is more germane to our race. She is still within 5 seconds, Leinenlund.
She is, and Leinenlund is just coming back. I do wonder, she's not letting it go out too far, the gap, is she? And if she can just hold on to Hagen being within those 5 seconds, I mean, she's in a great position for the ski jumping later, and she's got around 15 seconds to the group chasing her, so she's in a great position at the moment. She should hold on for this last lap.
Well, they train together. They're in step together here. And certainly Lund is hanging on, and let's just see if she can keep hanging on up this rise here, because once again Hagen, when she's in form, she just looks so powerful. And I love this part. You can just literally look down on your competitors.
You can, and it's quite a good thing. Okay, in the lap before they were there, and now they're there. That's always good to. I like that actually when I was racing here, and Hagen was around about 6th, 7th place yesterday in the jumping, so she will know that she has to get the biggest lead from this race, and that she can, well, possibly win later on.
Yeah, she's about 15 points behind Ingrid Lartin. She was in 6th. This is the best of the rest. Ambruster leading them through. Vollersvek, she's had a great season. Brabeck, Garrity Moats is in that as well. This is 24, Joanna Kill. She's in that group behind the peloton, shall we say, and they do look tired, don't they?
They do. They're already a minute behind, so they've got a big, well, they've got a lot of work to do later on the hill, and I'm just looking for Lata when she's going to come through. I haven't seen her yet. Just looking, she was 29th when she went round for the...
She's a minute and 40 behind. Just checking the GPS, yeah. It's a long way, isn't it? You're going to have to jump, well, the country miles, like I always say, but yeah.
Well, you know, I'm never going to say anything anymore about what I think is going to happen, because anything can happen on the ski jumping hill, and we are seeing some great racing from these women athletes on this brutal course here in Seefeld.
Wearing the yellow bib and leading the pack. It's Hagen from Lund, and then a gap, you can see it. It's around 20 seconds between Lund and Armbruster. Things kind of concertina a little bit on that climb up, and then of course they're back down towards the stadium. Less than a kilometre to go. Hagen imperious again. Lund has been dropped again. She was 4 or 5 seconds, now she's 13 seconds behind. But can she hang on? Because I think she probably will be able to. The rest are coming. Mitchenstad is up there now. Brabeck.
I was just going to say that Hannah from Norway Mittenstad is up there, isn't she? And then we know she struggles on the ski jump, so she will be looking to get every single second out of this. And this is where the legs will be burning. She does look tired, doesn't she? Is she looking tired for the first time ever this World Cup season?
Well, she wasn't sort of tucked down, was she? She was just kind of taking as many lungfuls of air as she possibly could. This is, I was going to say, the easy part, but it's not, is it? Because thin skis, going fast, there's every danger that you could fall. We have seen it before.
And I've talked about it before, we've discussed it. Attacking over the top of the uphill sections is so important. You can just see Marta-Leena Lund, she's gone. You cannot see her anymore. And that's why it's so important to attack over the top. Because then you have the long downhill section where you're going 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. And you can take that speed into the last uphill section. And you can just see how technical it is. The women fighting with their skis around the corners.
You want to go fast, but you want to get round the corner. You can just see those left legs just compensating. If you have been on the cross-country skis as an amateur and gone down a mild hill, you'll know the kind of, they won't be feeling panic, but the care and consideration they are taking. Almost done. Here comes our leader, and she's a leader by a long way. She'll try and get as much advantage as she can. Only once has she not won a race this season. That was a second place. She's looking good again here at the start of the triple. It is Ida Marie Hagen who finishes first. And what is the gap between her and the next athlete? It is Marta-Leena Lund who's coming through. And it's going to be a fair distance. Just over 12 seconds.
That's
the two
right.
Norwegians, pretty good.
Yeah, they are. Sorry about that. They really are. And the fight going on at the back here with Brabeck coming in from the United States.
Yeah, United States looking good because Terity Moritz is not far behind, and Malachinsky is also in the battle as well. Armbruster was in third, drops down to fourth. Mitchenstad doing well. Jenny Novak, Volosvek, who jumped well, so she's in with a chance as well. Koronen, who's dropped down from second to 8th place. Chance for our leader to wave to the crowd, probably to her friends and family. Kasai inside the top 10. There is Malachinsky.
Great race from Malachinsky there. She'll be eager to get in that top 10, won't she?
Yeah, Hagen, the other Hagen, inside the top 15. Jonna Kill of Poland, who was scrabbling to say, does well. Into 15th, not a very strong ski jumper, so she'll be hoping that's giving her a chance. 17 coming over the line, Claudia Berker of Austria. Home fans cheering her over the line. And you can see what it's taken out of these athletes. 30 is Greta Pinzani of Italy, over she comes. And, well, we're getting towards those who have struggled on this course. Teja Pavic has gone backwards. She's the next to come over the line whilst the Norwegians stand and have a conversation. They've recovered. Pavic it is who comes over just ahead of Lowe of Germany. We had 32, I think that's 31 actually, no Herner of course. Starting 11 nations, that's growing all the time. That's wonderful as well. And the Hagen family and fans are here. Yeah.
And look at the crowd. Great to see so many spectators here for the woman, isn't it? And coming up here to Seefeld, men's races after. So a lot of excitement to come.
Yeah, not even the weekend officially, although I think some people have started a little early, if truth be told. Still got a couple we are waiting on, and they're both from Czechia. Teresa Kodowska, Jolana Hadrilova. are on their way. That is what it means. Ronja Low trying to just get herself back into some kind of equilibrium. I mean, it's a horrible feeling, Manny. Well, you'll know, I won't, but a horrible feeling when you've given it everything and you just lie there, just trying to recompose yourself.
Oh, it is. And one of the worst feelings is, you know, you gave it your all, but it just wasn't enough. And you could be in your best shape, and this course just challenges you. It really does. And you can be in the best shape ever, but if your legs aren't fresh on race day here in Seefeld,
There's also a psychological element to it, isn't there? When Hagen's just that far ahead, you say to yourself, you know, what am I going to be able to do? How do I get past this? That's Verbic, who's over the line. One more to come, and it is Jolana Hadilova. Dropped down a few places. She's quite a long way behind, isn't she? Over 4 minutes behind Hagen, but she is now getting into that last 100 metres or so, and that will be a blessed relief for her. And it's horrible, isn't it, because you know that the triple is all about being there or thereabouts all 3 days, but first or last, this crowd willing them over the line.
exactly, and hats off to all these athletes. It's amazing what they're doing. And I do want to point out, Latte, 27th place, so 2 minutes 20 behind. So that'll be interesting what she can do on the hill later and where it'll put her.
Yeah, but I mean, she can gain some places on the hill, and then that gives you a chance next time out. And, well, there's the points advantage going into the ski jumping. Not much between Hagen and Lund. Brabeck, Armbruster, Michelstad, Novak, Volosek, all there or thereabouts. And, you know, some of these athletes will say 20 points, that's not a problem for me, actually. You know, I'm a good jumper. So some will be more hopeful than others. Latte, 35 points. Well, she was 10 points ahead of Alexa Brabeck in the PCR. So that gives you a kind of ballpoint figure. She will, if she jumps normally like she does, on the hill on the left-hand side, a bit later on, will be perhaps in the top 10, but no more. Wonderful part of the world. It's a perfect day, isn't it? You can see the slopes on the left-hand side, the ski jumping, the cross-country routes. They do.
It's all going to Seefeld, isn't it? It really is. And do want to point out, basically, all the cross-country skiers who are going to the Olympics are in Seefeld at the moment. Seen on social media, they're all doing their intervals, you know, perfect conditions, high altitude, and where else would you want to be? And, you know, it's only 2 hours away from the Olympics.
Yeah, a little drive over the hill, so to speak. Well, this was the moment that cannon fired, and away went our leader and stayed in front. And everyone's trailing behind. She is a phenomenon, isn't she? Really, Hagen, a record 25 individual World Cup wins. A couple more than Gida Vesvold Hansen, who's not been around this season, concentrating on ski jumping for the Olympics, of course. She's won 8 of the 9 World Cup events this season, and she will be, you wouldn't bet against her being in double figures by the end of this weekend.
No, you wouldn't, would you? You really wouldn't. And great first race. It really was. And we're going to see some really interesting competitions this weekend. I can guarantee you that. So I'm so excited. And yeah, can't say enough. Hats off to these athletes. It's a brutal course. And to know that you've got to race it another 2 times this weekend.
Yeah, and 3 laps, of course, the women on Sunday as well. There'll be some very tired athletes at the end of that. She looked a bit tired, and she's at the top of the pile, so Seefeld is a good test for everybody, and if you're an athlete, you will relish the challenge for sure. She looks as fresh as a daisy, to be honest with you. No collapsing on the snow. Some views here more attractive than others. That's a better view than we just saw. Beautiful.
Ida, congratulations. You're in the lead after the Mastad race here in Seefeld, but it looked tough out there. How are you feeling right now?
It was so tough to race today. There was, it's a hard course, and it was also yeah, sun, so it was warmer than usual. But I was happy to have a lot of people cheering for me out in the track, and a lot of my friends and family is here, so it's meaning a lot to race.
Good luck with the jumping part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we saw a little wave, wasn't it, from Hagen to friends and family. We will be back 1:30 the hour for the men's competition. We'll see you then.